I'm just waiting for Nat, who's on his way here. He's over there. And today we're gonna go take a trip to the Wisconsin Dells and go on a boat tour and check it out.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Nat?
Yo, we're ready
to go?
Ready to start our expedition. It's a small military thing where you can see planes and
It's a Veterans Memorial. Vietnam. Jet in here with Huey. That's the dam. So I guess you can go to the lower Dells, which is behind that. We're going to the upper Dells.
You'll arrive in 1,000 feet.
Two and a baby.
Two for us.
Yep, there you go.
Okay.
I don't know if you wanted
Oh,
that or
okay.
not.
No. Is it gonna be cold up there?
This is the only one on board, so bidding starts at $20. Goes up as we go down. So I'm a bidder. There are more, of course. They're behind you folks in the two metal crates on either side. Downstairs, they're inside of the bench seats. There's also wooden crate towards the back of the boat downstairs. All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all aboard the Red Cloud. We're going to get going here on our 2-hour, 10-mile round trip up and down the scenic Wisconsin River, a river so grand they named a state after it. We will be taking 2 stops today. First one at the beautiful Witches Gulch, a glacial meltwater canyon, and our second stop at the world-famous Stand Rock. That's where you'll see one of our jumping German shepherds of Juneau County. Before we get going too far, my name is Renita. I'll be your pilot and tour guide out here today. And this is my first day, so I'm super excited. We're gonna have a really good time. Between these two cliffs is the deepest point in the Wisconsin River. We have 110 feet of water below us at this point. This is also the intersection of 4 Wisconsin counties: Sauk, Adams, Columbia, and Juneau. So as we make our way through this point, you can now say you've been in 4 places at once. Coming up on the right shoreline, you'll see a skinny column of rock. This is called Chimney Rock. It's named after the stick and mortar chimneys of the early settlers in the area. This one is the second most photographed rock formation here in the Upper Dells, first one being Stand Rock. It was formed by wind, water, and frost erosion in the very soft and fragile sandstone. At our first shore landing, the Witches Gulch, we'll be walking close to the sandstone, so the temperature drops about 10 degrees back there, making us some of the coolest people in Wisconsin Dells. was the most dangerous part of their entire journey, especially right here in the Narrows. Not only because it is so narrow, but just up ahead of the boat, the river comes to a sharp 90-degree turn. And it's not too difficult for us to navigate, but you have to imagine that they were out here before the construction of the dams, so the water was rushing a lot faster. This area was actually full of whitewater rapids and whirlpools at that time. And oftentimes, as the men tried to round this bend in the river, they'd crash into the rocks up here on our right, breaking apart the rafts they were traveling on, and sometimes even taking their lives. So this area got its name, the Devil's Elbow. And because of how dangerous it was, it started up a new profession called standing river pilots. Those men, for a fee, would hop aboard the lumber rafts and help the men to safely navigate this bend in the river, make it through here alive. The most famous of those men was the man named Leroy Gates, and he left us with his business card. It's coming up here on the left-hand side of the boat, on the flat slab of rock just starting to come into view. So look for the darkest stripe in the rock. Just below that overhang, you'll see some letters carved into the rock. That reads Leroy Gates, Dalles and River Pilot from 1849 to 58, directly to our left, about 8 feet above the water. Don't feel too bad if you missed it. It's the hardest point of interest to see on the tour today. It's been pretty weathered over the years. You're more than welcome to stay here on the boat if you're not feeling up to the walks today. But this will be the easier and the shorter of the two stops we'll be making, so I do recommend this one if you're able. It's about 1/3 of a mile. It's a flat wooden boardwalk. We will be taking the same trail into the gulch that we're taking back out, so you're more than welcome to turn around at any point if you're only feeling up to a portion of that walk today. Keep your eyes peeled for the signs with yellow lettering labeling the landmarks. You'll see the Whirlpool Chambers, Witch's Bathtub, Witch's Falls, Witch's Window, and Spooky Lane.
Yeah.
Y lo va a dejar adentro. Adentro de la casa.
Stands 47 feet tall, it's 12 by 20 feet on the top, and the gap between the rock and the mainland is 5.5 feet. It was made famous by Henry Hamilton Bennett, the same photographer I mentioned over at the Witch's Gulch. Back when he opened up his photography studio here in the Dells, photography was a lot different than it is today. You had to sit still for a few minutes to take a photograph. So that being said, you could not capture anyone or anything in motion. They would appear blurry or not really show up at all once that photograph was developed. So this became problematic for him as he set out to document the lives of the lumber raftsmen, because of course they were moving here on the river. So what he did is he came up with many new inventions to help advance photography at that time. One of them being the snapper, one of the first instantaneous shutters that allowed him to finally capture snap action. He took that along the river, documented the lives of the lumber raftsmen, captured them throwing ropes to each other. But unfortunately, people did not believe the early images. They accused him of staging all of them, saying that the men were standing still, ropes were held by wire. So to prove everyone wrong, to prove that his camera really worked, he came out here to take a photograph that could not be faked in any way at that time. He set up his camera behind you folks, and then he set his 14-year-old son, Ashley Bennett, on top of the cliffs over here. Like any good father, told him to jump across so he could take this picture of his son suspended in the air. It's a really tough photograph to get, as you can imagine. You'll find out here soon. The timing's tough. So he did not get the perfect photograph on the first attempt, and that was taken back in 1888. So he went on to enter this into a photo contest out in New York, won first place. People were amazed with both the technology, but also the beautiful sandstone cliffs in the photograph. So that's when people started coming here to the Dells to see everything that you've been seeing today. All right, let's give them a round of applause up there.
River still, or is this the Sauk or some other
Sauk River.
Yeah, it's different.